Today we're taking a look at the movie The Shallows. This is a story of courage, determination, and survival against all odds. Let's recap the full movie. Nancy is a talented medical student who has recently lost her mother to cancer. Struggling with grief and unsure of her future, she travels to a hidden beach in Mexico, a place her mother once visited. Her friend was supposed to join her, but after a night of partying, she cancels. Determined not to waste the trip, Nancy goes alone. A friendly local named Carlos gives her a ride, warning her to be careful, but respecting her wish for solitude. The beach is breathtaking: golden sands, crystal clear water, and perfect waves. She sets up her things and heads into the ocean with her surfboard. While surfing, she meets two local surfers, who warn her about the shifting tides. They share a few waves, then head back to shore, leaving Nancy alone in the water. As the sun begins to set, Nancy decides to stay out for one last wave, a decision that will change her life forever. As Nancy catches a huge wave, she notices something strange in the distance: a large whale carcass, floating and partially eaten. The sight unsettles her, but she continues surfing. Then, suddenly, bam! Something massive slams into her board from underneath. Disoriented, she scrambles to climb back on, but then she sees it: a massive great white shark circling beneath her. Before she can react, the shark lunges. Its jaws clamp onto her thigh, pulling her underwater. She thrashes and fights back, punching and kicking at the shark's face. With sheer desperation, she manages to break free, but she's severely wounded. Nancy swims with all her strength, bleeding heavily, and barely makes it to a small rock formation just above the waterline. She collapses, gasping for air. She's alive, but the nightmare is just beginning. Stranded and bleeding out, Nancy assesses her wound: a deep, gaping bite in her thigh. The blood loss is serious. With no medical supplies, she's forced to improvise. Using her earrings, she painfully stitches the wound shut with her necklace. Every movement is agony, but she has no choice. As night falls, the tide begins to rise. Nancy realizes she won't last long without help. She tries to stay awake, but exhaustion and blood loss take their toll. Nearby, she notices a wounded seagull. Its wing is broken, likely from the shark attack. She names it Steven Seagull, and the injured bird becomes her only companion. Below the surface, the shark never leaves. It circles the rock, patiently waiting for her next move. At dawn, Nancy spots a drunken man wandering on the beach. She shouts for help, waving frantically. He notices her belongings on the shore and steals her backpack, completely ignoring her cries. But as he wades into the shallow water to take her surfboard, she realizes what's about to happen. She screams a warning, but it's too late. The shark lunges from below, dragging the man underwater in a violent explosion of blood. His mangled body resurfaces moments later. Nancy watches in horror. She's truly alone. Determined to survive, she eyes a buoy in the distance. If she can make it there, she might have a chance. With no other choice, Nancy prepares for her most dangerous move yet. She studies the shark's movements, timing its circles. Then, she dives into the water. The shark instantly chases her, closing in fast. She swims with everything she has, pushing through the pain. Just as the shark lunges, she barely reaches the buoy, pulling herself up at the last second. She finds an emergency flare gun attached to the buoy. Desperate, she fires a flare at a passing cargo ship. But there's no response. The shark, furious, begins ramming the buoy, shaking it violently. Nancy holds on, but the structure is falling apart. She sees a final deadly opportunity: a piece of jagged metal debris from the buoy, positioned deep underwater. With one last, desperate move, Nancy dives again, leading the shark into a final trap. As the beast charges at her, she swerves at the last second, forcing it to impale itself on the sharp metal spike below. The shark thrashes violently, its body torn open. Then, it finally stops moving. Nancy has won. Exhausted and barely clinging to life, Nancy washes ashore, where Carlos and his son find her. They pull her to safety. As she fades in and out of consciousness, she sees a vision of her mother, as if guiding her home. 1 year later, Nancy has fully recovered. She has overcome her fear and returned to the ocean. This time, surfing alongside her younger sister. The film ends with a powerful message. No matter how impossible the odds, the human spirit can overcome anything. And that's the full recap of The Shallows. This gripping survival thriller is both terrifying and inspiring, showing how one woman fights against impossible odds to reclaim her life. If you enjoyed this recap, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more thrilling movie breakdowns. Be blessed.